Hello, I'm Brigantia, Blackbird of Blackbird's Brew. Happy Saturday, and welcome to our weekly Loki video. We're going to be talking about how he's been teaching me to ride the waves of uncertainty, since uncertainty is all around us right now, and in general, the kind of progress that I've been able to make thus far. So let's get into it. So, when the sea is wild, we must be wild. Playing it safe gets us hurt. As with a literal ocean during a storm, life itself can be overwhelming, tossing a person every which way, and there comes a point when we realize we can't control everything, and then we realized we can't control anything around us. The only aspect where we have agency is how we respond to each other. And this is really an assault on your personal sense of security, and it can be brutal, especially if this has been a reoccurring pattern in one's life. And of course, the more we try to stay in place during such times, the worse the pain and the suffering and the sense of insecurity really becomes. Now, when I meditate with Loki, oftentimes I will get images of this stormy ocean, and sometimes we're flying above it, which is still a bit scary because of the unpredictability of the wind. And sometimes, I'm on a boat. I'm having to navigate these towering waves that if I saw it in the waking world, I would be so dead. There's just no questions about it. But what I've been learning with these visualizations, amongst other things, is that fighting what's going on in an effort to make it stop when it's something that is beyond what I have the power to stop, or try to control what's going on when it really is outside of my control, it just leads to disaster. And the point of the meditation and the lesson that he's been teaching is to learn how to cope with and to take advantage of the wildness of the moment and not to focus so much on the fear. Because uncertainty can be scary, but it's also exhilarating and fate shaping. And the fright that goes along with uncertainty that's easy enough to understand. We know why that happens. But taking hold of that fear and turning it into something that's more useful, such as alertness, so that you're keeping your head on a swivel, you're looking for how you might negotiate things. That is the challenge. And in order to do that, we have to not be paralyzed. And fear can be very paralyzing. And if there is a genuine threat that we're facing, being paralyzed, frozen, unable to act is not a desirable state of affairs. And it can be very hard to get us out of that state. And part of that does involve deprioritizing the fear, of not making that the most important consideration, of realizing that we need to deal with what's in front of us rather than fret and wallow in how we're feeling about it. And once that's accomplished, that's when the adrenaline can kick in. And being able to do something when these overwhelming challenges arise, it can actually be exciting. Now, enjoyment isn't exactly the right word for it, but there's this rush, and that rush is not unpleasant. And call it a guilty pleasure, and plenty of people would take issue with what I'm saying and say, you're not taking the situation seriously. I am. I just think that embracing the rush that goes along with it, that can be a good way to deal with what's going on. It gives you energy, and at the very least, you are not being held hostage by it. And during uncertain times, when all the possibilities are in play, what used to be unlikely suddenly becomes more possible, possibly attainable. And this has the potential to change the course of a person's life. So this brings me to the most recent part of the lesson he's been teaching, is that to actively look for opportunities within these storms, because the storms are the cauldron of transformation, a breaker of stagnation, and that is what Loki is all about. Nothing can or should last forever. Stagnation is decay while a person is still breathing, a slow, painful death of the soul. That is one of the things that he emphasizes time and time again. The chaos, whether we are causing it, within it, being affected by it, the chaos is going to reveal what's weak. And that weakness, once exposed, can actually be caused to collapse. Now, this collapse makes room for new ideas, new solutions, a newer, stronger structure, a better outlook on how to view what's going on. And so this isn't mindless, destructive chaos. At least it doesn't have to be. The process puts what is unworkable essentially out of its misery. And whether what's unworkable is some large, huge thing in society or an idea in our heads that we just haven't let go of, we now know that this isn't going to work in reality. It's just going to cause problems and continuous suffering and pain. And so it's time to let it collapse and go on to something else. Loki's strongest push has been at getting me to ask the question that as I'm looking at the changing landscape, either within myself, my personal life, or the world, to ask myself, what's possible now that could not have taken place before? It's the chaos that's going to enable us to shape ourselves and how we relate to the world, as well as providing opportunities to influence the wider world, especially because with all the uncertainty, I think a lot of people are a lot more receptive. So this is a wonderful time for people, over a variety of subjects, not just world events, but just about everything to come together and start brainstorming, testing out our philosophical ideas and saying, I don't know. I think there's a weakness here. I think we need to explore something else. This is an opportunity to do something in a sheer act of creation. And that's another part of what makes this process so exhilarating. So that is where I am at. I would love to discuss any of this or any of your own experiences with Loki further. I would be very excited to do that. You can come see me at Blackbird's Brew on Discord. There's a link to join in the description box below, or you can leave a comment here on this channel. And if you haven't already, please like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.